There was no hell, not yet. There was only the scream of twisting metal and burning wings. Imagine looking into the eyes of your best friend, the person you trusted more than anyone in existence, and realizing you have to kill him. That is exactly where Archangel Michael stood. We are told that God cast Satan out, but the Bible is very specific. God didn't lift a finger. He didn't intervene. He sent a soldier. He sent Michael. This wasn't just a war for power. It was the first tragedy in the history of the universe. To understand why the morning star fell, we have to go back to when they were still brothers. Before the chaos, there was order, and at the peak of that order stood two beings, Michael and Hellel, the one you know as Lucifer. Ancient texts and interpretations often depict them as twins, mirrors of each other. Lucifer was the light bringer. He was charisma, beauty, and perfection. He was the one who stood closest to the throne. He was the priest of heaven. Michael was the warrior, the quiet strength, the shield to Lucifer's sword. They were not rivals, they were a team. Ezekiel 28 describes Lucifer covered in every precious stone, carnelian, chrysolite, and emerald. He was God's masterpiece, and Michael loved him. They flew through the cosmos together, naming the stars, organizing the nebulae. It was a paradise of pure light. There was no concept of betrayal, no word for enemy, until the architect changed the plan. God created something new, not from fire, not from light, but from dirt, humans. It was a creature distinct from the angels, fragile, short-lived, and bound to the heavy gravity of Earth. Then came the command that shattered the silence of eternity. Bow. All angels were ordered to serve this new creation, to protect them, to guide them. For Michael, an order was an order. Loyalty was absolute. He looked at the first man, Adam, and saw the potential God had placed within him. But for Lucifer, it was an insult. Why should fire bow to clay? Why should the perfect serve the flawed? Why should the immortals serve those who die? This was the moment the cancer began to grow. Not hate immediately, but pride. Lucifer looked at his own reflection, at the emeralds and gold adorning his armor, and then looked at the mud-covered human. He felt superior. He felt that God had made a mistake. I am spirit, he thought. They are merely dust. The seed of rebellion wasn't planted on a battlefield. It was planted in a thought. Lucifer began to withdraw from the heavenly choir. His songs, once praises to the Creator, started to become celebrations of himself. Michael noticed the change. He saw the shadow passing over his brother's face. He tried to speak to him, to remind him of their purpose, but Lucifer was no longer listening to the harmony of heaven. He was listening to the sound of his own ambition. Lucifer didn't attack immediately. He was smarter than that. He started a campaign of whispers. He moved among the other angels, spreading doubt like a virus. Is God truly just? He would ask softly. Why does he replace us with these hairless apes? Why does he restrict our freedom? He promised them a new kingdom, one where angels ruled, not served, one where they would be gods themselves. 1/3. That is the number given in Revelation. 1/3 of the angels listened. They were captivated by Lucifer's light, blinded by his rhetoric. Michael confronted him. This was the final attempt at peace. Imagine the conversation, the desperate plea of a brother seeing his sibling walking toward a cliff. "Brother, turn back. You cannot win this. You are fighting the source of your own existence." But Lucifer was no longer the Lightbringer. He was becoming the dragon. His reply has echoed through history as the ultimate declaration of ego. Non serviam. I will not serve. He drew a line in the clouds. He rallied his followers, the Watchers, the Seraphim who had turned. The atmosphere of heaven shifted from peace to tension. The golden light dimmed. For the first time, weapons were drawn, not for ceremony, but for war. Michael looked at the army gathering behind Lucifer, faces he knew, friends he had flown with, and he knew what he had to do. He drew his sword. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. This wasn't a physical battle as we know it. It was a clash of wills, a collision of cosmic realities. Lucifer unleashed his fury, transforming into the great red dragon, a metaphor for pure destructive chaos. He wanted to tear down the throne, burn the archives, and recreation in his image. The loyal angels were strong, but they were hesitant. They were fighting their kin. They hesitated to strike the beings they had loved for eons. The line was breaking. The dragon was advancing toward the throne. That is when Michael stepped forward. He didn't hesitate. His name, Mi-cha-el, literally translates to a question, who is like God? It was his battle cry. Every strike of his sword was an answer to Lucifer's pride. You think you are God? You are nothing. Michael attacked with a fury born of sorrow. He wasn't fighting for glory. He was fighting for the survival of existence. The clash between Michael and Lucifer shook the foundations of the firmament. Light against corrupted fire, humility against pride. It wasn't raw power that defeated Lucifer. Lucifer was likely stronger in raw energy. Michael won because he possessed the one weapon Lucifer had abandoned, submission to a higher truth. With a strike that sounded like a thunderclap shattering the universe, Michael broke Lucifer's defense and cast him down. I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. It is said that the fall took 9 days and 9 nights. 1/3 of the stars were swept from the sky, trailing black smoke as they plummeted into the abyss. Think about the silence that followed, the empty halls, the missing voices of the choir. Michael stood at the edge of the precipice, looking down. He did not cheer. He did not celebrate. He lowered his sword, his head bowed in grief. Victory tasted like ash. Michael had saved heaven, but he had lost his brother. The corruption was purged, but the scars remained forever on the face of the sky. Lucifer was gone, but he wasn't dead. He was merely relocated. The war in heaven ended, but the war for earth had just begun. Lucifer, now Satan, crawled into the Garden of Eden, waiting for the creatures Michael had fought so hard to protect. He would corrupt them just to spite the brother who defeated him. But God had other agents prepared. Michael is the general, the one who fights in the light. But sometimes you don't need a general. Sometimes the threats are hidden in the shadows of the earth. Sometimes you need an executioner.
In the next episode, we open the forbidden book of Enoch. We will discover the secret mission of Archangel Gabriel, the one ordered to descend to earth and turn the monstrous children of the Watchers against each other in a civil war of blood and giants. You think the war in heaven was brutal? Wait until you see what happened